Heyo, welcome into CHGO Bets Daily, presented by DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up. We are very excited to have DraftKings on board. And they asked if I had a Vegas story, Cody. And come on, I can do you one better. I got a Vegas hat. I'm on my Carson Wentz shit on this thing. Welcome into CHGO Bets Daily. I'm Sean Anderson.
Good to be on your? Is it good to be on your Carson Wentz shit? Like Steven's not here, but like everyone knows how I feel about Carson Wentz.
I've mentioned multiple times on the Bears podcast that he is a terrible quarterback and that he sucks.
Have you not seen his drip though? Have you not seen Carson Wentz's drip?
He loves to hunt.
Drippy.
That's all I know.
I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter. At Sean_W_Anderson. That's Cody Delmendo in the varsity hoodie because he's a company man. You can follow him on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. We are here to tell you about my Vegas shenanigans. We are also here to talk to you about
Sean is not as tan as he was yesterday, by the way.
Oh, yeah, because Ryan Herrera was in for me.
Yeah, but we called him Tan Sean.
Okay.
Oh,
all right. Yeah,
that seems a little problematic, but okay.
Yeah, I don't know if he's just tan. I think there's also some ethnicity differences there between Ryan and I.
It is, but we ran with the joke. It was fine.
That's the thing too. Also, yeah, I mean, hey, if Ryan's running with the joke, I don't think he gives a shit. But hey, here's the thing: we're being produced today by our guy. Law Dog.
I missed that.
Cody was a little late. And Jack Arce and Law Dog and Sean are back. What happened to Tan Sean? I guess I just didn't get enough sun today, guys. I only stepped out for 9 minutes instead of 11 minutes. But here we are.
A hat instead.
I got a hat instead.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe the hat
blocked the sun. Yeah,
the hat covered me. This is my actual skin color. This olive right here. But the hat really blocked everything. My bank is at $100. I'm very happy to announce we didn't really give our bank totals. My bank's at 100 though, so I'm feeling pretty good. Cody,
I'm down to like $320 some bucks.
What?
I hate to see it.
We haven't had a chance to talk, Sean. I had a rough Sunday.
You were at 7.
Yeah.
Well, last week, going into last week, I was around 650, and then I had a tough Sunday.
I'll say this
was bad.
When the Packers lose in Washington to your guy Carson Shitberg Wentz, and the Tom Brady Bucks lose to the frickin' rebuilding Panthers. I mean. That's going to screw up some parlays.
Between those two games.
Is that what screwed up parlays? I mean, is that what happened to you?
That did. Okay. I did lose a parlay. I had a 4-leg parlay and then include the Buccaneers to just win. And my one leg that did not win was the Buccaneers losing to the Panthers. So, yeah. But it was, I mean, I went like 2-7 on the noon slate last Sunday. That was not good.
Well, this is what I love about college football is I don't have to worry about any of the quarterbacks getting divorced.
That's fair.
I don't have to worry about.
Didn't help last night either. Well, I lost every single bet last night too.
Like Cody. Yeah. And why'd you do that? Because you didn't listen to me. And hey, I would have lost one for one of my bets. I went 1 for 2, but I told you to take Ravens money line plus 115. Come on. I mean, the guy's getting divorced.
Yeah.
I mean, it already happened. I mean, it sucks.
300 plus games, 300 plus consecutive games, Sean, that Tom Brady had not lost 3 consecutive games. You're telling me that's why
out the window
because they lost last night that I should have taken the Ravens.
He's not being coached by Bill Belichick, and that's not me saying Tom Brady doesn't have the success.
Todd Bowles isn't. Well, he didn't have a great time with the Jets. But
I don't think they have the talent that this is the worst talent team that he's had in Tampa, and now he's got a
lot of injuries, man. They have a lot of injuries.
And he's got a new coach. I mean, that leads to a bad role. He should have took the Ravens money line.
They just won the Super Bowl like a year ago with basically the same roster.
2 years ago. Sue was on that team.
And they were in the playoffs last year.
It's not the same roster, too, because they're hurt. Anyways,
right. But don't tell me that I should have taken Ravens money line. I will not bet against Tom Brady on primetime.
Lawrence, can I go to Notion right now and make a graphic request? Can you go and take a screenshot of literally our Slack chat where it says I would take Ravens money line at plus 115 because I literally told Cody, it's not me. I'm just stating a fact here, Cody. This was stated in the Slack work that is documented. That is.
We talked about your bets. Bets.
Hey, I went 1 for 2. We are very excited. And Michael H saying Kellerman is finally right. Brady has fallen off the cliff. I mean, I guess, you really took him just to get divorced. Again, I think we could really drive that point home that he's getting divorced.
I don't see your pick, by the way.
Oh, I know it's okay. I mean, but it says, I mean, we're all good. I mean, don't worry. It's not that big of a deal. I could find it. You just scroll up a little bit. And I said I would begrudgingly take the Raven. Yeah, right here. The NFL sucks and I hate it. I would begrudgingly take Baltimore plus 115, Brady over half an interception at plus 110 tonight.
Yeah,
I told Cody. I told him. And then he said headline, betting the World Series NFL week slate 8.
Yeah.
And they took the Raging Cajuns and they lost.
Oh, I lost every bet yesterday, okay? Don't shove it down my throat. It's already enough pain. Hey. You know what? I lost like in brutal fashion because that under was never a doubt. And then the Bucks, who they had no chance of coming back to win that game, they hit the over with that stupid touchdown because of the offsides on the Ravens. Like it was just dumb, you know what I should have done in the second quarter, or is either late first quarter or early second quarter. I can't remember. I could have live bet Ravens plus 9.5 or bet Ravens money line if I just said, okay, that was a bad bet. I didn't do either because I was too busy winning money betting on punts, and I couldn't stop. All right. I made my money back. I made my money back betting on punts per possession for each team. I made like $25 doing that.
I love the drive result thing. That thing gets addicting when you're watching games and you're like, especially I was watching that App State game, that App State Georgia State game like a week ago that you bet on, and I was like, oh hey Cody, I can get App State -1 for plus money, and you're like, oh I'm sitting on Georgia State +9, and I was like, oh sorry for you Cody because I'm betting the shit out of App State, and I won like $30 on just betting them to score touchdown after touchdown.
Hey, you know me, all about the live betting, especially when a team goes down early. Plus money, baby.
There you go. We love plus money on this podcast, and I'm a little bit rusty here.
That all said, I still think the Ravens are not making the playoffs, but whatever.
Yeah, you had that bet. Did you like any of my future bets that I sent in?
I haven't got a chance to look at them fully, but I'll have to go back and look.
The one I really liked, and here's Lawrence showing my Carson Wentz drip on the screen right now. One of the worst fits of all time, and I try to match him up here with the hat. Do you think I did a good job, Cody?
It's a totally different hat style.
It's a different hat. Like he's wearing like a fedora. It looks like.
Yeah, you're wearing some insanely.
You look like you're wearing like a cowboy hat.
Yeah, I thought it had the cuts
or
that
somewhat
were similar.
Like a cowboy hat. You need like the straw or whatever, like the drawstring or whatever.
Yeah, I think for a cowboy hat, it needs to be a little bit more like this, which is actually this makes it more sick.
I'm your Huckleberry.
I think if I curl it, I think we'll have a good hat here.
Oh boy.
Jack R in the chat's taking.
I just love how Jack is just throwing all his bets in.
I know it's fantastic. I put them on screen, but it's just like they're just rolling in here.
Well, Cody, before we get into DraftKings and before we get into our college football slate, do you have any bets for tonight's World Series? And do you have any bets for Bulls as well?
Yeah. So World Series, I like the Astros tonight. I would take the -1.5, but I don't like betting the run line for baseball, as everyone, as you should know. Like, I don't like betting baseball in general, but I like the Astros to win tonight. I like the Astros in 4. I already bet them to win in 4 at +850.
I like them to win in 5. I don't think they get all 4. I also am betting 5 just because they can't beat the White Sox record. Like if they tie them and go 11-1, all right, that's fine. But if they go 12-0, I can't take that. But yeah, I think that especially with Nola, I think they'll be able to get one game, or they'll be able to get the second Wheeler game. I do like the Astros tonight. I just wouldn't mess around with the money line because it's probably at what, like -160 anyways, right?
Yeah. So like,
I'm good.
Like
What I like is DraftKings. They had a boost for any player to get a +200 boost for home run prop. So I ended up taking Kyle Tucker to hit a home run. and boosted that up to 700. Going up against a right-hander, going up against a guy who throws heat. Kyle Tucker this year against fastballs 95 or over had an expected slugging, I think, of like 612. So let's go. Kyle Tucker in his own park. I like Kyle Tucker to come up. He hasn't been great in the postseason this year, but I think maybe he turns it on for this series, especially being in the World Series. If you do want to use that bonus that DraftKings is giving out, make sure you opt in. I also think Bregman could go deep. Bregman loves hitting in Houston, especially off guys with velocity. I mean, he can catch up. So I do like those two players to hit home runs if you are looking for a home run prop tonight. Do you have any Bulls play?
Yeah, I'm taking Trey Jones under 13.5. Admittedly, I've been betting whoever I know Ayo Dosunmu is going to be guarding. I've been taking their points under. There you go. I believe that it is hit 4 out of the first 5 games. What they played, this will be their 5th game tonight. I believe that it's hit all 4 times. I could be wrong because I haven't placed it every time, but in at least 3 of the games, I've taken the points under on whoever Ayo's guarding. So I like that. I took Vooch over 10.5 rebounds because that was at minus 110 or minus 105. I thought that's great value. And I did a parlay that includes DeMar DeRozan scoring 20 points plus those 2 that I just said, and I added Ayo to get a steal because he's got at least 1 steal in every game this year except for 1, so I like the odds there. I would take Bulls by -5. I think it's up to 5 now. I already took it. I'm taking it. I think that I don't know if they're going to blow them out like they did the Pacers. I think the Spurs are a better coach team. But it's tough because they're a road favorite. But I don't know. I like the way that Bulls defense is playing, and that's what gives me hope or gives me some sort of optimism into thinking that they could win by 6 or more tonight. So I placed that and those other props for tonight's
Cody,
game.
When I say this, I mean it with all love because I do love you. I'm fading you. I'm absolutely taking Spurs money line at plus 165 because of the reasons that you said. They're very well coached. They were able to take advantage of a very good Sixers team as well, where Embiid put up 40 points. And the thing is, no Zach LaVine tonight. And I think that the Bulls are looking forward to Saturday. The Bulls have never beat Joel Embiid. They have never beat the Sixers with Joel Embiid. So I think they're looking forward to Saturday. I think this is a trap game. I like the Spurs at plus 165. That's just me. Maybe the Bulls and the bench crew is able to pull through without LaVine, but I just don't see them doing it. There was some stats posted by our guy, Will the Goat Gottlieb, on Twitter and saying something about the Ayo, Caruso, or I think it was Dragic, Caruso, and LaVine, tandem threesome there is like plus 55 for net rating. So just the fact that LaVine's not there, they're just not going to be able to stretch the floor out, I think. And I think that the defense of the Spurs will be able to limit the shooting. So I'll take the Spurs tonight. But maybe DeMar's looking for some revenge. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I do like anything. Honestly, I really like anything with DeMar because it is a revenge game. And he's coming off kind of like a bad game, but also he didn't have to do much against the Pacers because everyone else was scoring. So he's actually going to be pretty well rested going into this game.
He's going to get his 20,000th career NBA point tonight. He needs 7. Pretty sure he's going to do that.
There you go.
Yeah, he'll definitely do that. So, yeah, I mean, I think props are still open. And, I do think the Bulls' depth is okay, or good enough to still do well against the Spurs team. The Spurs, they've started off okay. And, yeah, you mentioned the 76ers, but they're also 1-4 to start the year. They're struggling to start the year. I don't know. But, yeah, you do make a good point. It is first of a back-to-back. Personally, you'd think the Bulls would want to try and win tonight, considering it is the first of a back-to-back, which means that they're going to be tired after travel and going back to Philly. I believe is it in Philly tomorrow?
They play Philly plays in Toronto tonight. I think. I'm going to look it up. I'm not sure. 76ers. No, in Chicago.
Oh, is it back home? Okay.
Yeah. Well, so hey, if you're looking for tickets, use Game Time. Go to the Bulls podcast and click the Game Time link and get tickets.
Dress up like a Bulls player for Halloween and then go to the game.
There you go. You could dress up like a thief and you could be Alex Caruso.
There you go.
Because he gets a lot of steals. You get it? You could dress up as a lock and then you'd be Ayo Dosunmu. because he locks up people on
defense.
On defense, you could dress up as a bucket, and you could be DeMar DeRozan because he gets buckets. Okay, I'm done.
Are we ready to do college football?
Yeah, let's first let people know that because the NBA is back, the wait is over. You could start betting on the NBA again. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is now letting new customers make any $5 NBA moneyline bet and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. So if you do like that Spurs bet, you could bet $5 on plus 165, turn that into, I think, like $21. And then you also get $200 in free bets. So this is a fantastic deal for new customers. In addition to the usual bets, everyone can also up their winnings on parlays 100% with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. So go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in the homepage on the top bar. You can opt into all of the great promotions that they have, and you can place a stepped up same game parlay today. And with bigger payouts than ever, DraftKings Sportsbook is where I go to bet on the NBA, the NFL, college football. All of the lines that we'll be using today for the college football bets that we have will be through the DraftKings Sportsbook app. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, use promo code CHGO, and make any $5 bet this week and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply, and see our show description below for more notes. And while you're down there, you can also subscribe and hit the like button, which would help us immensely. So make sure you do that and help the ever-growing CHGO family. All right, Cody, let's get into some college football bets because Jack R is ready to explode. Also, I'm assuming he's taking Ohio State minus 15 and Kentucky plus 12, which I don't know about that Kentucky bet. We'll talk about it in a sec. Why don't you give us your first slate, and then I'll get into mine.
All right, well, let's start with Illinois, Nebraska, right? I'm going to be watching this game tomorrow. I can't.
How are you betting on it? Yeah, I was about to say.
I can't, but I wanted to come up with something because I think people care, and I like guys like Jack. He lives in Indiana, so
that's true.
You know,
what was so weird? I got to tell some Vegas stories. I went on the sportsbook, a short one, and I saw the Illinois-Nebraska line, and I was freaked out that I saw even the Northwestern Iowa game.
Yeah,
I was blinded by the under of 70 or 37.5 for the Iowa Northwestern game.
Oh my god! Weird. If I could easily make that bet, I would be slamming the under for that. It's going to be the most disgusting classic Big Ten game ever of just punts and disgustingness.
I would take under 30.
Yes. Because I think Iowa wins 27-0.
10-9.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if Northwestern will even score, dude.
Hold on. Iowa is not scoring 27 points.
Well, Northwestern is not good, and they don't know
Iowa is literally the worst offense in the history of college football.
But no.
Listen,
honestly,
they scored. They actually found a way to score points against Ohio State. I'm just saying.
I honestly, they scored 10 points. Let's relax here.
But they scored. They hit double digits, Sean. That's big for them.
They would have been better off punting on first down every possession.
Here's what
someone literally did that in the analytics, and they would have actually gained yardage.
I honestly think Northwestern might be a worse offense, especially going up against a good Iowa defense. Good Iowa this is going to be a 6-3 game. I will take under 10, honestly. We can't bet on it though. And Jack R saying, why can't you bet on the Illini? Illinois does not allow it. It is a state law for you to bet on college football games unless you go into a sports book.
Yes, unless you go to a sports book, and
which
that's why I cannot wait for the sports book at Wrigley Field to open because it's a DraftKings one. I can't wait to go to it.
It's going to be interesting
because that's on Illinois there.
We being in Vegas, and I guess we'll get into the Vegas stuff now. I did place bets in person, and I went to the kiosk, and I forget where we were. I think we were in the Venetian, so it was a William Hill sports book. And I ended up placing bets on there, but it was so limited, the actual kiosk, and I don't know if you go up to the teller or the cashier, and then you could actually place further bets, player props or something like that. But honestly, I'll stick to my phone. There's so many more different, just markets. I really, and maybe it was just the sports book. It was very limited. Maybe I went to the wrong sports book. But yeah, I didn't really love being in person at all. And I placed a $110 bet. We'll get into what kind of bet it was, but I went 0 for 4 and it sucked. So I didn't go back to the sports book because I had no reason to, because I lost my bet.
Interesting. Sorry to hear that.
So now, don't worry. The
only
Vegas strip was good. I'll tell you later.
The only way that we can bet on Illinois in this state is if we just went offshore. But we're drafting.
Well, no, or as Michael H is saying here, if you go to a brick and mortar sports book like at Rivers out in Des Plaines, then you can bet on Illinois or Northwestern.
Interesting.
Unfortunately, for some reason, they think that teenagers are going to somehow get influenced by people betting on them using their phones.
Yeah, which is dumb. But let me get into it. All right. Illinois, Nebraska. All right. Illinois is like 7.5 point favorite. I lean Illinois just because I think Nebraska sucks. But they have played better since they fired Scott Frost. I'll give them that much. But I'm staying away from the spread. I like the total under 50. I also like the Nebraska team total under 20.5 because Illinois' defense has allowed the fewest yards per play in the country. Guys, that's 3.8, by the way. And they've allowed more than 14 points just once this season, which happened to be against Indiana, which was the dumbest game of the year. And Illinois was robbed of a win, in my personal and biased opinion. But I just like the under because I think Illinois wins. I don't know how many points they're going to score, but I don't know if Nebraska's going to be able to score off this Illinois defense. Illinois defense is actually really good. It's the only thing that, like, honestly gives me some sort of hope that maybe they can hang around with Michigan in a couple weeks, but I don't feel great about it. But
I mean, as a guy who's not an Illinois homer, I think you can make the argument that they're definitely a top 3 defense in the Big Ten. I think they could be. I honestly think if you put them and Penn State in a neutral field, I think it would be a fair game. I don't think that Penn State could move the ball against Illinois, and I think it would
Penn
be
State
a sloppy Big Ten game.
Yeah, outside of Ohio State and Michigan, the next team after that's considered to be atop the Big Ten would be Penn State. I think they can hang around with Penn State for sure. It's just like probably the best team that Illinois has played so far, I would say to this point, is Minnesota, but I'm not even that high on Minnesota. They haven't even played that great of a schedule to this point. Illinois' schedule is going to get a little bit tougher here in November, and we're going to find out if they're Big Ten West champion worthy or not. You know what I mean? So it's a big game, and one of the other reasons why I'm avoiding the spread is just because, like, they're coming off a bye, and and one way you could look at it, well, they've had a lot of time to prepare for Nebraska. On the other hand of it, it's like, well, you had all kinds of momentum going into the bye, and I don't know. I just feel a little weird about the spread, so that's why I like the under, and I like the Nebraska team total under as well. So that's where I'm at on that. What else is on that graphic? Syracuse money line. I like them, but going up against Notre Dame, they almost won last week. They should have won last week. They should have beat Clemson at Clemson. They should.
Yeah, but DJ is not that bad. Clemson's quarterback is not going to play that bad, and if they play 100 times.
Well, either way, I think that they're better than Notre Dame. And I know you're a Notre Dame guy, Sean. You know that Notre Dame isn't that good. Like, Syracuse at home against that team, it's basically a pick 'em anyway. But
I'm staying away. I was shocked by the Stanford game where Notre Dame ended up losing to Stanford. I think it could play out very similar to that, where they both score under 20 points. I don't know, because Notre Dame has kicked the ACC's ass. Like, I think they're 19-1 in their last 20 ACC games. Yeah. And I think that one loss is to Clemson. So do I really want to bet against Notre Dame again in the ACC? Like, I don't know. Notre Dame has burned me so many times, losing to Marshall, losing to Stanford. I'm just staying away from this team. So I got no real feelings on this. I feel the same way. It just seems like Syracuse is the better team. It seems like they have better mojo, but I don't know. I really feel like Notre Dame could. I feel like I'd bet on Syracuse and Notre Dame will kick their ass because they handled North Carolina. And Mac Brown said after that game was that that's the most talented team that we faced. So I don't know. I think that Notre Dame could possibly win that one. I'm staying away.
Yeah, I feel that. I don't know. I just feel like Syracuse, they far and away should have won last week, and they just kind of fell apart in that second half. Now they go back home, and they're trying to bounce back. I think going up against this Notre Dame team that's been basically inconsistent this year, if you look at it from a grand scheme of things, like, I think they have a good shot. At minus 120, I don't mind it. Iowa State money line plus 100. Going up against Oklahoma. Iowa State's lost 4 straight. Oklahoma snapped a 3-game losing streak against, I think it was Kansas a few weeks ago, and they're coming off a bye. The reason I like Iowa State here is I just like their defense, and Oklahoma's defense stinks. They're allowing the 6th fewest points in the country. That's like in the nation. Iowa State is, which is hard to believe considering they've lost 4 in a row. And their quarterback's coming off a big game. He threw for 329 yards and threw a couple touchdowns. And that was against Texas. And that was a game that they led that majority of that game. I know you and Joey were high on Texas. I'm assuming you're not anymore because they lost last week. But I don't know. I think Iowa State at home, you give me Iowa State money line at home plus 100 against Oklahoma. That's obviously had plenty of issues this year because of injuries and all kinds of other things. I think that this is a year that Iowa State beats them. And then Ohio State, Penn State over 60.5. This is what I think is going to happen. It's going to be a very similar game as what Ohio State and Iowa was last week. I think Penn State hangs around in the first half, and then Ohio State kind of takes over in the second half. I like the over mainly just because will Penn State be able to stop them? They scored 45 on Minnesota, they scored 45 on Minnesota last week, so I think they can put up some points. I think they're going to put up more points than Iowa did. And Ohio State just put up a ton of points too last week. But Ohio put up a ton of points all year. So
Ohio State's offense wasn't that good, and they had such great field position. I mean, like Lauren said, Iowa would have been just better off punting the ball. I mean, that's how bad their offense is. So I really don't think you could be comparing anything Iowa has done against any team, just because I think there's a bad barometer.
I'm just saying, like, everyone knows that Iowa's defense is really good, and Ohio State went out and put points on them. I know that Iowa
they're averaging the ball at like the 12-yard line.
Right, they're average. Take over.
You don't think they're going to take? You don't think that Penn State's going to give the ball away some in this game?
I mean, Petrus gave him a free 7 points thanks to him being the worst.
Do you remember the game against Michigan? They had the same issues too. Like, Michigan's maybe not better than Ohio State, but like they got blown out by Michigan as well.
I could see this being like a 35-7 game. I don't see Penn State putting up points, but I don't see their defense being that bad. And I honestly, I don't even know if Ohio State's like that great. Like, I don't know. This is going to be an interesting game because I could see this as being a boring Big Ten game, and like it's a clear 14-point win for Ohio State, but
it's the biggest game of the year for Penn State. I think they come out and at least show they got some heart. That's what I think, and I think that leads to
kicked
points.
By Michigan, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State's going to kick their ass.
It's a home game, and they did hang around for a half against.
Is it
Michigan.
A whiteout? Ooh, it's so cool to see them all wearing white. Ooh.
No, because it's at noon. You can't wear white at noon because it's the sun. The sun will just blind everyone.
I think Penn State hangs around. They score some points.
Stand out like crazy because it's like instead of having a green batter's eye, it's a white background. So the ball will just be the clearest thing in the sky.
All right. Well, that's how I feel. Was that the first 5 I gave?
Yeah. You want to see your second 5?
You missed one.
Let Sean do his.
Well, you missed one more too. I think you had Rutgers plus 14, right?
Oh yeah, going up against Minnesota. Just because I think this is too many points. I think Minnesota wins, but also Tanner Morgan didn't play last week. If he does play, like. PJ Fleck, he hasn't announced as far like I tried to see if there was an update, but they haven't announced it. Like,
yeah, they were doing Tanner this last week against Penn State too. Like Morgan warmed up pregame and then they announced that he wasn't going to play.
Like if he does play, he's going to be rusty since he didn't play last week. And Rutgers defense is okay. I think 14 is just too many. I know Rutgers is not great. I mean, they barely beat Indiana. That's saying something. And Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota's coming off a blowout loss to Penn State. Maybe that fires them up to come out and pound Rutgers. I don't know, but I just think 14 is too many. I think Rutgers can hang around. It's going to be this is where I feel like could be a potential disgusting game, like a 35-7 potentially if Rutgers doesn't cover.
Usually when I see a number like plus 14 and I like that plus 14, I also like taking the under just because. I think the idea is that, the margin of victory there is built into the spread. So either way, I think that the under will hit just because, I don't think that, if it's 28-14, right? Like how realistically can they actually, get to that under? And I think that, especially if you like the underdog, it's tough to really just figure out a 14-point margin. So I like the Rutgers play there. All right. So what I found out in Vegas here, and I know I said I made $110 bet. I made $110 bet on a NBA round robin. And I'm not a big NBA bettor, which is my fault. So maybe I picked the wrong sport. But basically, a round robin, Cody, is you could pick either the 2 parlay ones, the 3 parlay ones, or the all combination. It all depends on how many teams you add in. I had a 4-team one, and I'm going to stick to 4 teams and the 2 round robins I'm going to give you. But basically, you could bet all the combinations of that parlay to hit. So you could bet all 4 teams to win, and you could bet that parlay. You could bet 3 teams to win, or you could bet all the combinations, right? So these are, if you see on screen right now, you could see all the different combinations that I'll win. On the left are all the 2-pick parlays that I can win, and on the right are all the 3-pick parlays I can win. So if we want to go to the first screen, Lawrence here with all the teams that corresponds to these numbers. So the teams that I'm looking for, now this is sicko mode. I want to go to the first one. We'll go to sicko mode after. So
wait, was there other ones with some other teams?
My bad. All right, hold on. There was. It was right above the. All good. We're all good. I got the teams here. All right. So it was 2 graphics. It's a ShortGo. It's a ShortGo. You made it.
That thing? Oh.
Yeah, you made it. The ShortGo.
Oh, I didn't realize that was.
So this is my strategy. It's my strategic. My ShortGo.
I didn't know this was the 1, 2, 3, 4 thing. Sorry.
No, it's all good. No worries. All right. So the teams I've taken, and it's in this order. So Wake Forest is team number 1. North Carolina money line is team number 2. Baylor money line is team number 3. Auburn money line is team number 4. Wake Forest getting 3 points against Louisville at -115. North Carolina money line at -150 against Pittsburgh. Baylor money line at +105 against Texas Tech, and Auburn money line. And now I'm blanking on who Auburn's going up against Arkansas. So those are the 4 teams that are in this round robin. And now if we want to go to the round robin graphic, the non-sicko mode. So basically, if we have Wake Forest win by 3, and we have the other team being North Carolina win, I'll win $15. Okay. If 1 and 2 win, if 1 and 3 win, I'll win $19. If 1 and 4 win, I'll win $22. Right. If all 4 win, all of those will hit, Cody. So that's the hope, is that, I go 2 for 4. And if I go 2 for 4, let's just say the 2 favorites there being the North Carolina money line and the Wake Forest -3 one. So the 1 to 2 would hit. I'd win $15 there. And then, that would be the only thing I'd win. But hopefully, if I win 3 of them, we could see all those numbers add up. So those are the teams that I'm hoping for there. So if I go 4 for 4, it's going to be a great day. But usually we don't go 4 for 4.
Now, how much did this bet cost? $110?
No, that was the one I did out in Vegas. I put 110 on.
But so how much does this cost to do this?
So it depends on how much you want to do. So it's basically, that was 10 different outcomes. So I put $1 down. So it's $10. So I bet 10 $1 parlays.
Okay.
That's basically how you can think of it. So it's 10 $1 parlays.
So wait, if you hit just 2 of them and it's $1 parlay, you're winning $15.57. That doesn't make sense.
Let me see.
I'm just saying, because if you have 2 teams that are at, I don't know, either the money line and whatever, what are the odds on those? They're not
oh, my bad. No,
not that big.
Sorry. I put $20 down.
Okay.
So yeah, 20 total. So it's 20 on all. What is that? 10 of them? All 4. Yeah. Okay.
Basically, I'm confused by this round robin Roberts situation that you've decided to come up with. But
basically, hopefully I go 4 for 4. But usually the thing is I don't go 4 for 4. And
so you just need those 4 teams to win?
Yeah. But if they don't, I mean, but if I go 2 for 4, I'm still winning something.
Okay.
That's
You're going to win
idea.
something more likely than not.
Well, and this is stemming from last week when I went 2 for 5 on my just underdog picks that I wanted, or 3 for 5 on my underdog picks that I wanted. So then that way, and I never took them straight up. So I just ended up, what's it called? So wait, my bank was 100. So I ended up spending the bank. So that's whatever
That's
happened.
$100.
Okay.
But I didn't do it. It's split between the two different graphics.
Oh my God,
and then I have a Kyle Tucker bet as well. So I think it's 95 split between the two parlays.
Okay.
What?
Cool.
What?
Cool.
Sean likes North Carolina money line. He likes
North Carolina money line. Wake Forest
Auburn,
-3.
Auburn
-3 against Arkansas, because I think it'd be hilarious for Brian Harsin to win another game. And then Baylor money line, because I think they're going to be able to run over Texas Tech.
I think there's a lot of points in that game, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like so too. But I think they're going to be able to run.
Wake Forest the most. I like Wake Forest the most of the three.
North Carolina wins the Coastal if they beat Pitt. So that's why I like them on the money line. I don't like them on the spread, but I like them to win just because that's such an important game.
You don't win the Coastal in week 9. That's a week 17, whatever, week 18, 15.
There's like 2 more weeks left. What are you talking about? They don't have any more. They've played all their Coastal
chaos,
games.
Baby. Coastal chaos. That's how
they're the best. There's no good teams in the Coastal.
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
Nor has there ever been.
They're 4. If they win this, they're 4-0. I don't think any other team can win ACC. So Georgia Tech and Duke have 2 wins, and they have the tiebreaker over both of those teams. So if they win this, there's no way they have the tiebreaker all the teams that have 2 wins.
All right, where are we going next? I'm done with this round.
Oh my God! All right, go to Cody's.
All right,
we'll do my last set.
Sorry.
I'll make it so much easier for everyone. Okay. Oklahoma State money line +105 on the road. I believe they're on the road. Remind me who they play. I'm already blanking who they play. It's not Iowa State. They're playing Oklahoma, but Kansas State. That's who they're playing. So Oklahoma State, they had a huge comeback win against Texas last week. And then Kansas State, they led against TCU, blew it, lost to TCU. Their quarterback, Adrian Martinez, he might not start. Not that it really matters. He's mainly out there to run. They got another guy, Will Howard. He's not too bad. So I don't think that matters too much. But, one stat that I read about Oklahoma State is like they're one of the best defenses on third down, and Kansas State is one of the worst teams in the country on third down. So I don't know. It's a pick 'em. It's +105 basically. I like Oklahoma State bringing taking that momentum, beating as a home dog, beating Texas last week, taking that up into Kansas State tomorrow and winning out right there. I just think they're the better team, honestly.
They've had a lot of tough games. So I just that's my only concern with Oklahoma State. I think they're the more talented team, but I'm concerned that they just might not win.
Okay. Well, you kind of talked about Wake Forest -3 with Louisville. Listen, this is going to be Sam Hartman and the Malik Cunningham show. I think that we're going to get a lot of points. The only game that Wake Forest has lost, I'm pretty sure. If I don't know how to read, then I'm sorry. But they won their one loss against Clemson. It was an overtime game, and Sam Hartman put on a show. Louisville's offense is the only thing that kind of scares me about this over 64.5, because sometimes that Louisville offense just looks like pure poop, and then other times it looks great. And it all rides on Malik Cunningham.
Well, Louisville has not faced a quarterback like Hartman. So that's why I'm taking Wake -3. It feels very similar to the Clemson line about 2 weeks ago. I think they were going up against, I think it was Florida State or something. It was just -3.5. I just thought it was way too low. So I ended up taking that one, and it was an easy cash. So I like Wake Forest in this game, but I agree with you that points will be scored.
Yeah. Yeah. Wake Forest's defense also hasn't really shown me much either. I think Wake Forest wins by double digits personally, but I just think that they're like Louisville's going to get theirs too. So we're going to see 64.5. I understand is high, but I think with these quarterbacks, you're going to get a show. So I'm excited. I'm actually excited to watch that one. Baylor, Texas Tech. You like Baylor to win outright? I like the over. I think this is going to be a classic Big 12, like points. And that's because both teams are some of the top have some of the top offenses in the country. Texas Tech's ranked 9th in the country in total offense, and Baylor's ranked 28th in total offense. So, I just think there's going to be a lot of points. All right. I think it's 61. I guess that's fair. But I've seen Texas Tech put up some points against good teams. They put up a good fight against Texas earlier in the season. Their defense hasn't shown me much either. I just think that we're going to see a lot of points. Then finally, Tennessee -12. I know Jack R said he likes Kentucky. I like Tennessee. I thought last week maybe Tennessee would, come down to earth after that huge win over Alabama, but against UT Martin, they went out there and spanked them, as they should. They were gigantic favorites. They even covered last week. At home against Kentucky, I'll take the Vols again. I've been riding the Vols all year, basically, and it also helps that Kentucky's 3-12 against the spread in their last 15 games, and they're 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 meetings at Knoxville. So, I
love that.
I like I like Kentucky's defense, but is their offense going to be able to keep up? I don't know. Obviously, Tennessee's offense is one of the best in the country. They average like 50 points a game. Like I'd like the total if I could believe in Kentucky to score, but that's kind of why I like Tennessee -12, because I just think Tennessee's going to blow them out on their home field. I think this game ain't going to be close. So at least that's how I feel about it. That's where I'm leaning. So
yeah. I think if I'm doing my math right, Cody, in SEC games, Alabama has outscored their opponents 37-7 in the first quarter. So that's why I like Kentucky to not score any points in that first quarter, because their offense is just disgusting to watch. But I like Tennessee plus money to cover the first quarter spread at +100. I think that you're absolutely right. I love that they have all these scripted plays. I like that they have all these things ready to go. They always seem to start fast, and that's the big thing that I like about Tennessee is I think that they'll start fast. It might be tough to score consistent points against this Kentucky defense, but I think early they'll be able to score points. I think Kentucky's offense will look anemic again. So that's a part of my next sicko mode thing. But you're done with your list already? That's my spreads that I have teams, 3 prop bets.
All right. Yeah, I had 3 prop bets, but we'll get to them at the end.
Yeah, we'll jump into the next sicko mode. Sorry, Lawrence, you have to do this again. So I like Tennessee -4.5 in the first quarter against Kentucky. I like Ole Miss -0.5 in the first quarter. That's also at +100. And they're going up against Texas A&M. Texas A&M has not scored over 30 points, I think, in maybe 2 years. In an FCS game,
they haven't scored more than 24 in like over a year. I know that.
20. They haven't scored over
FBS teams.
Yeah, against FBS teams, they haven't scored over 24 points. So I think them scoring points will be difficult. Ole Miss has scored about 81 points in the first quarter. So I'm going SEC first quarter plays, Cody. I do think that both of those offense will score. And then Zay Flowers over 92.5 receiving yards going up against UConn. Zay Flowers has had 2 back-to-back games with receptions of 60+ yards. UConn, here we go, Cody. This is the University of Connecticut going up against clearly a first-round draft pick in Zay Jones, and they got Jakovic, who's a pretty decent quarterback. He's been
UConn is clearly a basketball school, if anything. Their football program stinks.
Jim Mora Jr. is doing his best, but Utah State, the longest reception there was 31 yards. Brian Cobbs also went for a $108 in that game receiving. The longest reception they led against the Central Connecticut Blue Devils was 30 yards. They also allowed 61 yards to Kyron Petaway. Then against the Syracuse Orange, who are known for running the ball, they allowed a reception of 47 yards. That was the longest reception. Damian Alford, 1 reception for 47 yards. Then Michigan ran the ball for 192 yards. They also had a pass for 38 yards. If you catch my drift here, Thayer Thomas had a catch of 75 yards against UConn and had 115 yards for the NC State Wolfpack. And then Fresno State had a long of 32 and 27. So my drift here, FIU, that's had 2 wins on the season, had a pass of 46 go against UConn. The only team that hasn't had a pass go against them 20+ is Ball State, and they still won 25-21. My point is here, Zay Flowers, I think, might get 93 receiving yards on one pass alone. So I will take Zay Flowers over 92.5 yards. And then East Carolina money line. There's a great account on Twitter at StatsOWar that has that puts out advanced numbers, and they have East Carolina winning this one 34-33. And I know that that's just base numbers, it's just analytics, but I think East Carolina, the way that they have played this year and the way that BYU just really hasn't found anything at the quarterback position, I like East Carolina to win. That's at plus 130. So it is a round robins Robert sicko mode. And I think this was, it must have been, so there's 10 bets here. I think this was the one that was $4.50 each. So it's $45 here. $50 in the first one. So the other one was $5 each. And then the other one was Kyle Tucker, $5 to hit a home run tonight. So bets 1 and 2 would give me $19, right? But teams 1 and 3 would give me $16. Teams 2 and 3 would give me $18. Hopefully we go 3 for 4 here. If Zay Jones goes for 100, we have East Carolina win, I'll be in a good spot. So, that's
I do like East Carolina. I already placed the bet on them to cover the 3.5 tonight. I do think that the spread is on the wrong side here. I think they should be a favorite, but they're the dogs, so you might as well jump on it. But the only thing
take the cushion. Why not?
Yeah. And the only thing that does scare me though is like BYU is so good at home, and like, the trip from where East Carolina is coming, they're going to go play all the way out there. Like, that's the only thing that kind of scares me. Like, but also BYU doesn't really have much to play for the rest of the year. They had high expectations come this year, and they're 4-4. Like, I don't know how much the team care. Like, as far as the players, like, I'm just spitballing here in terms of that. But, athletes are going to come out and play hard. But that's the only thing that kind of scares me is like BYU at home is a really good team. But yeah, I mean, I think everyone should be riding at least the spread, but hey, money line, you want the plus money action. I don't blame you. I think East Carolina is a better team, so I might as well take it. So
yeah, I think too, I understand your point about them being better at home, but I think I took them to beat Baylor. That one went to overtime. Arkansas just kicked their ass. And I know this isn't a Power 5 school, but I don't know. Just BYU hasn't looked good. I just think BYU just isn't as talented as they usually are. So it might just be a down year for them. Like, I just don't feel very, very confident. They did beat Baylor in a 2 overtime game in Provo. They beat Wyoming 38-24 in Provo. They beat Utah State 38-26 in Provo. But then they lost again to Arkansas 52-35. They've lost 3 in a row. So, I mean, maybe that plays into the BYU thing here, but I just don't think they're talented enough. So, I'll ride the Pirates.
Yeah.
Also, it's just Cougar versus Pirate.
Yeah.
Pirates, baby. It's so
Pirates
sick.
Versus Mormons, whatever, however you want to
Let's
look
go
at
Pirates. They had guns. I don't think Mormons have guns.
I ain't going down that path. All right. So I have 3 prop bets. You can take them single, or honestly, I'm thinking about parlaying them because I think they're absolute locks. All right. I like Blake Corum over 115.5 rushing yards tomorrow. He has gone over that total. The last 5 games, he's gone over it. Well, okay. 3 of the last 4, he's gone over it. One of those games against Indiana, he had 124. So he missed it by a half point. If that was the total, then I'm sorry for anyone who placed that bet two weeks ago. But last week against Penn State, 166 yards on 28 attempts. And I think this is what Michigan does. They're going to run the ball. And JJ McCarthy, he's coming along, but I think that's what they're going to be running the ball a ton. And he's a Heisman favorite. I just think that they're going to do it some more tomorrow. So I like that. I like Anthony Richardson. It's the one game, or the one thing that I considered for Georgia and Florida. I think that Florida can hang around, but at the very least, I think Anthony Richardson is going to have, he's going to be either really bad or he's going to be really good. But 40.5 yards rushing, I think is doable. I think no matter what, he can do that. He's gone over that total in 4 of the last 5 games. All right. He had 109 yards against LSU back on October 15th.
On one run.
I'm just saying he went over it.
It was an 81-yard run that busted it, where no LSU
either way, Either way,
Georgia ain't that bad.
I'm saying that I think it's possible. Okay. All right. And then the guy, I can't say his name, Israel, and I can't say his last name, but he's the running back for Pittsburgh. So I'm not going to say
Abanaconda.
Thank you. Thank you, Law Dog.
I mean, I don't know if I'm
against
right.
North Carolina. North Carolina's
I think it's
defense
Abanaconda.
stinks. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Either way, North Carolina's defense has stunk all season. I don't know if this is going to lead to Pittsburgh winning or not. I don't care about that. I just think that he's a great back. I mean, 2 weeks ago against Virginia Tech, he had 320 yards on 36 attempts. I just think that those running backs are going to have good days tomorrow. I think they have good matchups. We'll see. The two running backs, at least. Anthony Richardson, I know he's a quarterback, whatever. I just think the way Georgia's defense plays, he's going to be rushed out of the pocket. I also think he's going to be trying to be playing hero mode. And there's going to be some times where I feel like he might have to run. All right. He had 9 attempts in his last game. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. 40.5, I think is fine. But I maybe of the 3, that's the one I'm a little scared of the most. But of the other 2, I like the most.
Yeah, I think that the one that I would just probably push back on is the Richardson one, just because I just think Georgia has the fastest defense that they're going to face. Like he did really well against Utah. He did really well on that one run against LSU, but I just think Georgia shuts down Richardson. I think it's an ugly game for the Gators, but hey, I could be wrong on that. We'll hope for the best here, Cody. You need a big day for your bank. So fingers crossed. And we just know that we're going to avoid Sunday because the NFL sucks. The NFL is a boring sport. The NFL is a bad sport. And the Bears are the best team in the NFL. That's my take.
If I do well tomorrow, I'll definitely be placing more bets on the NFL than I should.
No. Don't bet on the NFL. Don't. Bad.
Code. I
can't predict it. It's fake.
I already bet Bears plus 9.5. Ready to be hurt again.
No.
I'm ready to be hurt.
Yeah. Hey, they won't have a running game. It would be the Tony Pollard Express, and you got to just hope that man wants a job really badly. So that's all you got to hope for. That's Cody Delmendo. You can follow him on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. Make sure you follow him on Sunday because he'll be tweeting out all of his NFL bets that he should not be placing.
You're probably right.
I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. But what?
I just love to gamble. I like the rush.
And shout out to Lawrence, our producer. We also belovingly call him the Law Dog. Did you get a donut today?
I did not. I got a delicious bagel sandwich. It was fantastic.
I'm happy to hear it was delicious.
In Oak Park.
There you go. What was on it?
All right.
We did a standard egg, cheddar cheese, and bacon today.
There you go.
But I did steal a little bit of the garlic butter cream cheese from my wife's bagel and slap that on there as well.
And I'm glad that you stole it because why else? Why else have a wife?
I mean, I also bought it, so that's fine.
Yeah, whatever.
Why else have a wife?
I don't know what. I don't know.
We're a team. We're a team, Sean.
Exactly. Exactly. It's just team play. All right. Bye, everybody. I'm Sean Anderson. That's Cody Delmendo. That's Lawrence Benedetto. We'll talk to you when we are millionaires because I'll hit all my round robins. Bye.